It's completely changed it. We lost all of the momentum that we had before COVID. Like in a business, you're always trying to continue to expand or continue to work out ways that you can make the business, keep the business viable as time goes by. And with COVID, the only reason we're still open through COVID is because we got a lot of subsidies. And so that actually got us through COVID. Without that, every business would be closed. So, because we couldn't make any money because we couldn't have customers. And then now we've got a time where we're going through the financial difficulties that people are going through with the interest rates going up through the roof, and that's causing a massive problem because all the prices have gone up for everything, and so a lot of businesses will be struggling more now post-COVID than they were during COVID because there's no assistance at all. You've just got to keep going and try to get through it. Well, I still think we're probably doing about the same amount of suspended coffees. So they're for anybody, of course, but obviously unemployed people are part of the people who come in here and they can afford, at least they can have a nice cup of coffee without, breaking the bank. But I'd say it's stayed pretty much the same, as in, we've got a lot of people who know about it and they come in, and then we've got people in our community who really want to look after the local community, and so they keep coming in. Doesn't matter how tough things get. Even through all of COVID, we had people coming in and putting suspended coffees up on the board, and of course the people who needed them could still come in and get them. So yeah, it's astonishing. But I do think that there's a difference that we may not be seeing because there are a lot of people who work from home now, and so that's going to give us a downturn anyway. So whether we've got an unemployment issue or whether we've got a lot of people working from home, I don't know. Yeah, but it's definitely a lot quieter. Well, it's very difficult, isn't it? Because there are lots of jobs apparently that people are screaming for staff, and for some reason that connection isn't being made between enough unemployed people. Do you know what I mean? Why is there such there simply are not enough people to get the jobs, but there are still a lot of unemployed people, and I don't really understand what's going on there, whether there's a problem with connecting people with work, whether there's a problem with maybe long-term unemployed people not having the confidence to get a job that they maybe haven't had training in. But I'd like to see more training on how to be an employee, because I think that's the key, especially for long-term unemployed. If you can teach people how to be the employee that I as an employer will always ring and say, could you please come in, we need you. I want that sort of training to occur, so they become the top of the heap rather than the bottom, and that that's the sort of thing that I would suggest would be good to sort of level the playing field a little bit more. I think that a good way is to go through the agencies, the local agencies, your Workways and I've forgotten all their names, but we've got a few around here. That's a great starting place. We do get people coming in and bringing in a resume. Maybe they only need to do it for Centrelink. Maybe they're thinking, well, I don't really have any experience. But I think what's not a bad idea is to ask that person what their interest is. Do they have an interest in hospitality? Talk to them a little bit about what maybe, instead of just drop in a resume and tick it off on the form, maybe employers could do a little bit more to see if that person might be a hidden gem. You never know. Well, there are supposed to be that many jobs around, but I'm not convinced there are jobs in the Latrobe Valley that you know, I don't think there's a huge amount. There probably are, like certainly in hospitality, people are screaming out for staff. And then there are people who don't want to work from an office anymore, they're all wanting to work from home. So there are definitely plenty of opportunities. Whether they're up here in the Latrobe Valley, I simply don't know. And I don't know how you'd find that out. It's just a disaster, guys. So just so you know, that's sort of what's going on at the moment, that there are a lot of businesses struggling like there's no tomorrow at the moment. So probably at the moment the unemployment situation is going to get worse before it gets better. Because for me to work, it's free, it doesn't cost me anything. And so if you're making less money, you will be the one working, the owner will be the one working. And so then you don't tend to look for staff because you simply can't afford them. So until this current inflation issue starts to settle down and we start to see what it's going to look like are these prices going to stay this high forever now? You know, is this the new standard? Or will prices slowly start to creep down a little bit, which we can then have a little bit more profit, which means we can start hiring people again. Otherwise we have to just use ourselves as cheap labour, well, free labour. So yeah, that's probably the only other comment that I'd make about it. Very, very difficult times. Anyone who hasn't got a good accountant at the moment is in serious trouble. I'm just hoping not too many people are going into debt to try and pay an electricity bill, because I can see that happening.